Okay, this is what I'm talking about. A wicking bed. That's a headboard to a bed on some PVC pipe and wicking barrels underneath. So I'll show you how to make this. Okay, today we're going to make a wicking barrel. This was a 55-gallon drum. It's been cut in half. And the best way to mark it, each 55-gallon drum height might be different than each other. So find the middle and then mark it where it belongs. And then you could take a stick or pipe or another barrel and just put your marker on it while you turn this one up against the marker. You just keep turning and it will draw the line. Just keep turning it and you'll have the marker sit stable on a stick, a pipe, another barrel, and you just keep turning the barrel that you want to cut to draw your line. It's a lot easier. So I cut a piece of PVC pipe taller than the barrel, and I angled the end of it. It's angled so it doesn't suction at the bottom, so water can get in there. And then I zip tied it, drilled some holes and zip tied it to the barrel. And I put in a drain plug. Now the drain plug height depends on the height of your milk jugs or whatever you're using inside. You would leave at least a 1-inch space, air space. So if your milk jugs are 2 inches above where you want to put your hole, that's where you put it. So it depends on what you're using for your inside. So since these are white barrels, what I'm roots don't like light to them. So I'm going to have to do something on the inside of this barrel to create the darkness that the roots like. So here's what's going on. I put down some landscape fabric all the way around the inside of the barrel. All the way around. And you can see between that barrel and this barrel how it blocks out the light. So that will help it. Then for the wicking part, you need something to create an airspace. And I'm using these 3-gallon buckets. So in one 55-gallon barrel, I've got 3-gallon buckets, and the top of the barrel, this barrel, will only take 2 milk jugs. The bottom part of the barrel will take 3 milk jugs. So what I've done is there's holes in the top and there's holes in the bottom of each one, and the holes at the top create the airspace, and that's air pruning. The roots won't grow any farther than when they hit air, then they'll die off, and it makes the plant grow more vigorous. So what I've done here is put the milk jugs in, but I'm also using some felt carpet backing. This is what you put under the carpet. This is felt, but it's thick felt and it's very absorbent. That'll help with the wicking too. but that'll also help insulate it and keep the soil from drying out. So this is the plan for today. And I'll show you how I did the barrels inside, the little 3-gallon barrels. Okay, these buckets, I used the drill to put some holes in, and I used the grinder to put other holes in. So the holes at which would be the bottom of the bucket's going to be flipped upside down. The holes at the top would be for the aeration, and the holes at the bottom be for the water to come in. These I got at the Homes for Humanity store, but they actually came from here. And I think they're 3-gallon, I don't remember. But I found some of these were with the drill, some of them with the grinder. I found the grinder worked the best, it was easier. And this is how I put the holes in the milk jugs. Ta-da! A hot iron. Book. For my landscape fabric, I put a tape measure in there, and that's 4 foot 7 inches. So I'm just making it 5 foot. So a 55-gallon barrel will be about 5 foot for the landscape fabric. Okay, time to cut some landscape fabric. We need it 5 foot. The reason we put landscape fabric or some kind of fabric over the barrels or the milk jugs is to keep the dirt from going into the water. Just kind of keeps that separated. Now it's time to put in the landscape fabric. So I just cut the piece, laid it over top, and then you have to make sure that in between each of the buckets or the milk jugs that you make a space for the dirt to go down to the water. So you have to make sure that landscape fabric gets all the way down. So what I did here was I used my hammer just to poke it. Make sure we're getting all the way down there. So the soil can make good contact with the water, and then it can wick up. So now I got my felt in there. I only went halfway around with that felt. I didn't have as much of it. But the felt is between the landscape fabric and the buckets. And it's pushed all the way down. Okay, this is underlayment felt. Comes in a big roll. And this is what I'm using. This is the nail down, because the other has plastic backing, so you want the nail down. But it's thick felt, water absorbent, wicking. So now all I have to do is clean up the edges, cut the landscape fabric that's hanging over the side away, and she'll be ready to fill with dirt. Last but not least, put some screen or something over your pipe to keep mosquitoes out. I find a hair tie works great. And also put one on the drain. That'll just keep mosquitoes from getting in there and laying their eggs. Oh, I've got the felt in there. It's covered. Screen on there. Screen on the other end. Ready to put some dirt in. Okay, I've got them all lined up. Doesn't matter if they're even. It only matters if they're level. The ground wasn't level, so I had to level them up. So now I got them all level. You just don't want the water to pool to one side deeper than the other. It won't drain properly. Okay, here's a tip for you. Don't be cutting plastic with your grinder with your tea glass nearby. I have plastic all over it. What a waste of tea. The plan is to have pumpkins growing up it. I've made 2 of them since I had 2 headboards. And pumpkins on one and watermelons on the other.